From Inwood in New York City, welcome to Inwood Art Works On Air. It's where you meet the musicians, filmmakers, writers, theater makers, and artists of all stripes that make their home what we affectionately call upstate Manhattan. I'm your host, Aaron Sims, and today we welcome local comedian and writer Nicky Sunshine. She has performed at the Apollo, Gotham, Caroline's, and so many other places. Nicky made her reality show debut in 2016, with her spouse Jamie Roberts on A Question of Love. Her solo show, Confessions of a Massage Parlor Madam, has raised awareness about trafficking and assault. She is a Northwestern University graduate, radio personality on www.108soul.com, and co-owner of Comedy in Harlem, a stand-up comedy venue. We're going to talk to her about her work on and off stage. But first, let me welcome you, Nicky, to Inwood Art Works On Air. Thanks so much for making the trek up here today.
I didn't know I was in upstate Manhattan, but I guess that's what it feels like.
Right? I mean, she was walking in telling me, like, that's a new world up here.
Where is this? Am I in Binghamton?
It's kind of when you have the trees and grass.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
It's nice, though.
Well, it's our little joke to ourselves up here. I always say, where you live? I go, just below Canada. Thank you very much.
Yes.
You know, but, well, it's been a while. Mm-hmm. So glad to see you, and thanks for making the time. I was thinking through when I was like, this whole podcast is about six seasons and counting now, has been about uplifting people who are doing good up here in the arts and culture. And it's kind of like the only podcast dedicated to putting a spotlight on those folk. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Nicky, haven't seen her in a long time. Those folk. And Eric Vedder and I ran into each other and talked, and we're actually playing softball soon. I'm in a softball team. And I said, well, Nicky did Culture Hub during the pandemic, or pre-pandemic. And you have your comedy, your one-woman show, your reality show experience. Yeah. You're running a venue now. You've been a mover and shaker and pursuing your dream to be on stage in whatever form that manifests. Mm-hmm. So I just want to check in with you, and how's your journey been these past few years? Seems like you're still here. So congratulations.
I'm still standing, and I have a running joke with a friend of mine in Chicago, and I say, I'm making moves. Whether I'm making money or not, who knows? But I'm making moves. So right. It's been a tremendous amount of activity over, I guess, almost 2 decades. Yeah. But really, the center of my world now is Comedy in Harlem. We're in the Hamilton Heights, kind of Bradhurst district on St. Nicholas Avenue, 147th Street. St. Nicholas Avenue historically has offered so much culture to the city, and with St. Nick's Pub, worldwide, acclaim. Tourists coming in to go see jazz, a lot of that has gone away now. Quite a few jazz clubs back in the 50s, 60s, bars, and now we're kind of in a league of our own in that corridor. But we've been welcomed by the community. The community is happy to see comedy, and especially happy that it's a Black-owned business there, because it is not easy to have a brick and mortar in Manhattan. It's a tremendous amount of financial responsibility, but thank God for my husband. We were friends. We met back in the early, probably 2010 or so, and he was producing a show at New York Comedy Club, working with Al Martin. Rest in peace, Al. He's kind of the comedy godfather of the New York scene, and the catalyst and the central figure for connecting so many people. So because of his clubs, he connected us, and we were friends. And then in 2015 became more than that, and had a chance to do a reality show. But we work well together. I mean, married couples, it can be some dark days, but he works tremendously hard, and I match his energy. And at times it's been an uphill battle with the comedy club, but we're still standing. And just now getting to thriving, we were on the east side in East Harlem. That's where we started. Mm-hmm. After the pandemic, we were there for about 2.5 years, and then we moved in May of 2024 to where we are now, and it's a lot happening over there.
When did you say to yourself, I'm going to create my own comedy venue? and be a presenter championing other people's work. Because as you were saying about your friend, I'm still here, I'm moving, but you're doing so much for other people now and taking on bricks and mortar, as you say. Like, I don't know if you ever thought of yourself as a facilities manager.
Yes.
I mean, there's all the different hats that, the individual artist, you're directing yourself in that role, whatever you're performing as the individual artist. Yeah. But when you're in charge of more people, it's a whole different ball of wax. So I'm just curious, like, what factored in that decision? Because you were moving and shaking, doing your own thing in the comedy world.
Yeah. Well, if we didn't love what we do, we could not do it, because it's not about profit. So the club happened very organically post-pandemic. So before the pandemic, Jamie was doing like a monthly show, quarterly shows at the National Black Theater, which is now closed, I think, it's under construction on 125th and I guess 5th Avenue. And so it was a theater style show. People would come. We had a partner at that time, and people just had a great time. It was something different than what they were doing downtown. And we often reference what they're doing downtown. I mean, we were in the downtown scene. However, one of the things that we say about the origin story, we didn't set out to create a comedy club. It kind of happened organically, where people were like, hey, we missed the shows that you were doing at the National Black Theater, could you kind of do some more? So we have a friend who has a very successful restaurant business. Shout out to Mike Clopton of Lighthouse. He gave us space and was like, hey, do your show here. It was in a restaurant. It was kind of cramped, but it was fun. And people wanted us to do it again. And he said, there's a space above us. Maybe you could kind of talk to the landlord and see if you can do some shows there. And then it started from there. So we were like, okay. And so we really started to try to give marginalized voices, Black, brown, women, a leg up in the industry. With comedy, it's just like, baseball or art or anything else. It's, repetition is the mother of mastery. If you're going to go on, Colbert or any of these other late night shows and do a set, you've got to be able to run your set so many times. And a lot of these marginalized voices weren't getting the stage time downtown. And so that's why we created Comedy in Harlem Uptown, not only for the community, but for the comedy community who's like, hey, I can't get on anywhere else. Where can I kind of find a home and get support? Because artists need support.
And they also need people who trust you. It's a reciprocal trust, right? Saying that I know it's going to be a good hang. I know it's going to be a good audience. I know it's going to be a good experience.
Right.
And the fact that you have experience in the business doing as well. And you kind of very, very delicately answer the difference between uptown and downtown comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a business, and then people also have preconceived notions of what they think work and who they want to hire.
Yeah.
And there's more opportunity uptown for more like as we do too. We're a multicultural community.
Right.
And we're cool wearing that hat. Yeah. And everyone's always welcome. And I feel like there's a lot of gatekeepers downtown. Yes,
there are a lot of gatekeepers, but there's a lot of opportunity as well. And I tell comedians, do it all. Entertainment is about networking. You definitely want to go downtown and try and see what type of opportunities you can get down there. But we're here for you. If you want to produce a show, we've given people chances to produce shows. They would never get any other opportunity for the price and for the deals that we give them. They wouldn't be able to do that anywhere else. But, it's not to say there aren't Black and brown and women getting opportunities downtown. I'm actually hosting a show at the Cellar on Sunday for my friend Yamanika, and that's where she plays only downtown. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting landscape, but we're here to support the artists that want to be supported and get stage time and get opportunities.
Hey, and you know what? Given another opportunity when a lot of small venues are closing is a great thing.
Yeah.
So, Fab, what are some of the challenges you've faced in putting this all together?
Oh, well, it's really taken a toll on my marriage. And, it's really about communication, and I have a strong personality, and when you're working with your spouse and they have strong ideas and you do, it can be a delicate balance. It's a tremendous amount of work. So, I mean, sometimes I feel like this club is a baby that's still, sucking the life out of our family, because it's a tremendous amount of time. But it's gotten a lot better. I'm also a mother, so I have a 4-year-old, and just trying to balance everything. It's no real work-life balance. I remember I went to a seminar with successful women in media that graduated from Northwestern. It was called like 100 women in council or something like that. And they were like, the message specifically to women is, with the work-life balance, and do I pick a family? Do I pick a career? You can have it all. You just can't have it all at one time.
Yeah.
And so during the pandemic, I had my baby, and I had a time with him, but now it's a lot of time dedicated towards the club. I mean, we put in a tremendous amount, like sometimes weekdays, I'm at the club from like 11 in the morning until 11 at night, 12 at night. So, I mean, you got to work. That's been a challenge. And really financially, like, we poured a lot of money into
just
into establishing our brand. So, wading into like not the point of no return, but like uncharted waters with like, okay, yeah, I have to take out this loan, and have to try to see about balancing and juggling these credit cards and stuff like that. It's been scary, but like I say, it's like our mission. It's like I feel like I'm a missionary of comedy. The profit, whether it comes, whether it doesn't, this is what I do.
So what keeps you going with it?
I guess I just live for the stage. I love the energy. When you sports fanatics, when you walk into Met Stadium or you go to Yankee Stadium and you feel that energy, and it's like tingling all over your body, and you're like, I'm so excited to be here. When there's a room full of people that and they're in a good mood, and the music's going, and they just want to be uplifted, and they want to laugh. It's addictive. It's addictive, and I just really love to see people on stage. I love being on stage, and I really love performance. I think it's great, and even to give that opportunity to new folks, because we have open mics. We have open mics on Monday and Tuesday, and then we do a once-a-month show called Fresh Faces. So that's for like newer people to the stage, when they can invite their friends and family out, and they can perform for like 5 to 7 minutes for a packed room. This is a full house. I mean, it's just something magical about it that I can't shake it.
Very gratifying, connecting people with audiences.
Yes.
And creating community that way too.
Yes, absolutely.
And where does your personal career fit in? I mean, I know being the producer now and presenter is your new career, but like, what's the story with your own journey as a comic right now? Are you putting it on the back burner because you're saying you can't do it all at once?
No, you can't.
Also, you have a family, you have a husband, you have a 4-year-old, and you're there from 11 to 11 some days. So are you kind of said my own personal career is on the back burner for a moment, like your one-woman show? I'm just curious of where are you at personally?
I think subconsciously, a lot of stuff is on the back burner just because I can't do it all. Like yesterday, I spent I don't know how much time running around for inventory, getting ready for this weekend, because we have three shows a day. 2 of them sold out. We had a big show last night, sold out. 2 shows on Sunday. And so somebody's I don't have a manager. It's just my husband and I. So running around to do inventory stuff. Yeah. So I do have a booth in the club because I'm a voiceover actress as well. So, sometimes I get in the booth early and try to get my auditions in, but a lot of stuff is on the back burner. I was supposed to do my one-woman show in July for some medical students at City College. I hurt my knee, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. And it's because all of this other stuff. And like in terms of my personal comedy, I host a fair amount of shows at the club, but hosting isn't the same as like actual comedy. You know what I mean? Hosting, you could kind of get through it. Hey, where are you from? And say funny things. But when you're actually, a comedic technician, like working on bits and running your act over and over again. I have not really had the footing to do that. And with that comes like a little bit of like, oh man, like beating up on yourself and like, self-doubt, like what am I doing? So it's also like a mental battle. Yeah. Just kind of saying, I will get back to that. It's just not right now.
Yeah. If you were starting it today, what do you wish someone would tell you about going into this and starting your own shingle, if you will?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say I wish somebody would have told me how much time, money, and resources that it would be. Because it's like, and because we're passionate about the arts, it's like you don't really sit down and like really crunch the numbers and really like, okay, like what are the ins and outs of my business plan? Like, I think we could have done that a little better. We won a grant. I don't know if you heard of that show, Bar Rescue.
Sure. With
John Taffer.
Yeah.
Okay, so in December we won a grant from John Taffer, and he actually came to our venue. And we won a free consultation with him, and he was kind of like, well, how are you guys making money? Like, we had taken the bar out of the business, and he's like, no, you want to put that back in, because when you're not doing shows, you could be doing happy hours, and you could be doing this, and you could be doing that. So we're in the business of comedy, my husband and I. We're not necessarily in the business of like restaurants and bars, right, even though it's kind of like a hybrid situation. So there's a lot that we are still learning about that business. I mean, we watch Bar Rescue and they're like, oh, we don't want to do that, and we don't want to do that. But it's a learning curve to do something like this.
And also it's like figuring out your income streams, right? Like, like you don't have to be in the bar business, but a drink is. I mean, I was down yesterday at a bar in Midtown after we saw a film, and it was $11 for a pint. I was like, really? Okay. All right. Well, and I mean, and the place is packed, and I'm like, and so you think about that. It's, a place for people to congregate and talk about what they saw at the club and whatever else. So it could feed, support the mission in a way. But, I hear you that you don't want to be a bar, like a full-time bar either.
I bartend. I'm bartending the early show today. As a business owner, you have to wear so many hats. Yeah. And unfortunately, when I have to tell people, because people come to have fun, right, and sometimes people want to push back on the minimum, which we have to have, because some of these shows,
the ticket minimum and cover.
Well, we have an $18 food and drink minimum.
Okay.
So it's, everybody doesn't drink, and we get that. If we did a 2-drink minimum, maybe we would make more money, but we said no, we'll do an $18 food and drink minimum, and sometimes people don't want to pay that, and I have to get very stern,
sure,
and say, listen,
it's not a free show.
I have to pay rent here,
right?
So if you were coming out to enjoy a night out, the expectation is that you would spend something,
right?
So I mean, hey, you got to do it.
You got to do it. No, those are all really great reflections of like starting a small business and business planning, and also, but I think what really shines through in everything you've said so far since you've sat down is your passion for this.
Yeah.
And we are very passionate and I'll say empathetic people in the arts, and we want people to do well. We want ourselves to do well, but we're there to champion other people as well. Like this podcast is about championing local artists, and we want people to do well. And so how do people get in touch with you if they want to be booked or see the venue, or how do people reach out to you? Like what's the process of being seen?
Well, we always like to say you can send a video, but we want you to come to the space. We want you, because we're different, we want you to come to an open mic, get on stage. Let's tell us who you are. Let's see what's going on. We do a mic on Tuesday. It's called Stand Up and Work It Out. And it's a mic with feedback. So we're not here to like tell people, oh, your act is horrible. It's kind of like, okay, well, how can we like help you punch up your material? Or if you don't have a 5 to 7 minute set, how can we help you structure your comedy so that you're maximizing on your laughs and things like that. So we like to invite people out on Monday or Tuesday. We have 2 open mics. You can go to our website, comedyinharlem.com. Certainly, you can DM us on Instagram. Our Instagram is comedyinharlem.com or Comedy in Harlem, and I'm Nicky, Nicky Sunshine. But people send me messages on Facebook. They send, they can call the club to see, hey, can we get a spot on a show? And we give people opportunities. Like downtown on a sold out show, if you're a newer comic, you may or may not get the opportunity to perform in front of an audience like 5 to 7 minutes if you haven't been doing it that long. We try to groom talent to kind of take them through the stages and give them big opportunities on stages. Because somebody gave me an opportunity, my comedy mentor back way in the early 2000s was a gentleman named Julio Gonzalez, but he had something called Broads of Broadway. And so he really wanted to help lady comedians because he was like, you guys don't get your fair shake. You kind of get, the lower end on the stick with a lot of opportunities. And, he put us on at the Laugh Factory right there when it was on 42nd Street. And to have your name on a marquee when you're fairly new, that could be the battery in your back as a new artist. And so somebody did it for me. And it kind of like fueled me to keep going. And if I can do that for somebody else, I think that's really special. And even at other mics, because I used to do a mic at Eastville, to see comedians today that are regulars at the Cellar that, have shows on Showtime, they say that the first time I ever got on stage was at Nicky Sunshine's mic at Eastville. That's like, damn, well, how old am I? Like, what? But it's very gratifying.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, you're doing great work, and as I say, I've been following it for a long time, and I'm so glad I get to reconnect with you again.
Yes.
On all the work you're doing. Is there anything else you want people to know that we haven't covered?
Well, just that we do different things. Like last Sunday, we did something called Sugar Hill Arts Collective, and that's where we featured 10 visual artists in our space, and it was a portrait unveiling for Felicia Rashad of The Cosby Show. So one of the artists did a beautiful portrait. Unfortunately, Miss Rashad, she had something stupid to do, like direct a play somewhere. So she, nerve. Damn it, what did you, the nerve of her. But we did have a Tony Award winner, Irene Gandy, who is like Broadway royalty, the only Black publicist on Broadway. She came, she loved the show that we were doing. So it's not just about stand-up comedy for us. It's about jazz. It's about visual artists. We do erotic poetry. It's really a center for expression. And in these times, we need to amplify voices, because we can get into a whole another hour or two about politically what's happening in our country. But I really do feel like artists have to speak up. And, being in Inwood, which is, a lot of Irish culture and roots, George Carlin was one of my inspirations. As a comedian, I thought he was brilliant. He spoke and he had something to say, which was powerful and resonates to this day, some of the messages. And I think that, while I'm not a city council person or someone that necessarily can influence policy and bring millions and millions of dollars in through budgets, I do feel like artists have a space in our society, an important one, to speak up, to express freedom of speech, because that's what our country is supposed to be based on. And so people get on our stages, they speak their truth. And to me, that is incredibly empowering, speaking truth to power. I think that's one of the greatest things that you can do.
I'd vote for you. That's all I got to say.
I'm not running. It's a mess. I'm not running for anything.
Listen, I think I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If more artists were in charge of this country, it'd be a wonderful place to be, because artists find ways to get things done.
Oh yeah,
they use their creativity and imagination and hard work to make things happen. And I say amen to everything you said. And also, I wanted to ask too: are you open every day of the week? What's your schedule?
We're
like
open pretty much. We do karaoke on Monday nights, so that's free. Tuesday we do the mics. So we're almost, I guess we are open almost every week. One thing that we didn't touch on is, and what made me think about it was when you were saying artists, artists need support. Back years ago in my former life, when I moved to New York, and I talk about this in my one-woman show. My one-woman show is called Confessions of a Massage Parlor Madam, and it really is the story of my life. I was auditioning. I had a job downtown at a lobbying firm. They were pissed off that I kept calling out for auditions. Rent was expensive, and I started working in the seedy massage parlor on 31st and 8th. As a matter of fact, I was there 2 days ago with my son. We were coming from Penn Station, and I was like, 252 West 31st Street. The memories. But I started working for this Chinese guy, and his girlfriend was a Russian woman named Anya. So I started working for her, and it was really, it was a rub and tug. And so the things that happened there, the police busts and the this and the that, and then I started my own business, and money was made, but people were hurt. And one of my apartments was right by the Ed Sullivan Theater, right on 53rd and Broadway. And so it's just like the marriage between art and like struggling artists. I mean, it seems like such a cliche, but New York City is a tough city. Artists need support. And my own story, like that was a 10-year ride that, I could be dead. And that's what my show is about.
Well, and everyone's story is unique. And I say this, I came here 2003. And so, 23-ish years ago or so now. And I don't know where I would live if I came off the boat today. Do you know what I mean? Like I mean, it is so expensive. Not to mention, what the cost of a gallon of milk is. I'm just saying, like you're saying, your overall nut, your monthly nut of whatever that is, and whatever your responsibilities are as an older person, as a married person, as someone who has a child. I have no idea where and I don't even know if he'd be actually in the city, because like when I came, Hoboken and Astoria were like the real hotbeds where people went. Spanish Harlem actually in the 140s and on 140-ish in Broadway, it was like a big place to be. But I don't know where I'd be now. Maybe Bay Ridge, maybe Jamaica Queens, maybe Pelham. I don't even know to be like in the 5 boroughs. I know a lot of people who are and I know, of course, the pandemic's changed a lot of things too, but and now it's a $6 ride in the subway to go to work and come back. $3 down to $3 up now. Yeah. I mean, it's just then there's the inflation costs for the congestion pricing, excuse me.
Yeah.
For bringing people outside the city in. GW Bridge is like $17 to cross. I mean, it's really interesting seeing like you're really being squeezed for, and the question is for what, So are you able to practice your art? Are you able to, to not be locked, like, we're like, you're working to live or living to work kind of situation. Yeah. And so I'm bringing it back to everything you're saying, and also the fact that you're giving a home to artists, which what I think we do up here at the Inwood Art Works, our nonprofit, is that, we don't have a bricks and mortar, but we've used creative partnerships with like wonderful people here at Good Shepherd and different nightclubs, as and the Parks Department and whoever else to make things happen. And, I think there's people like you and me who've had a lot of experiences and trials and tribulations to go, I'll listen and I'll hear you out, and here's a spot, right? Yeah. And I think that's why I think New York continues to be a good haven for artists. Because there's people like you out there who are saying, I get it. It was rough, and we have a spot on Tuesday night.
Come talk about your pain.
Exactly.
Talk about your pain. But shout out to the Rehearsal Club. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's it used to be on 53rd and like 5th Avenue, but it was kind of like a rooming house for women that wanted to make it on Broadway. And Kim Cattrall, she was there. A lot of some notable names in the theater, but they were able to house and feed women for a fraction, but this was yesteryear, but they still exist. They had a big gala, I believe it was last year, and a friend of mine is a part of it, but they're a nonprofit. They help raise money to support women on Broadway. And there are nonprofits out there, there are people out there that actually support, want to support artists. And, artists need so much beyond even, financing and housing. Just even mental health services, because that's the buzzword now.
And that wasn't anything when we were coming up.
No.
It was called rub some dirt on it and walking off.
It was called drink some scotch and black out.
Exactly.
And I've done it. And I've done it. You need to talk to somebody, just talk to the bartender.
Bartender's right here.
The bartenders
exactly.
are here for you. So, whatever we can do, it's whatever we can do, because people in the arts community, they need it. They need it,
well, thank you for doing what you're doing. Looking forward to catching some shows down there, and you've already told them where to go.
Yes.
And you got your own website out there too.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing that. And I just want to say, everyone, please go support Nikki and her endeavor down there. We're in Inwood.
ComedyInHarlem.com. Yes. We're not down south. We're not in Mississippi. We're right on
Inwood,
147.
Heights, let me tell you,
in St.
you can
Nicholas
actually probably
Avenue.
walk there, take the M100 or whatever
Yes.
it is. What's the subway stop?
It's actually 145th, but if you get off on the 147th Street exit and you come upstairs, we're right there. We have a nice little patio if you want to just hang out outside.
There you go.
It's
you have
a fun
Wi-Fi
space.
and stuff to hang out.
Wi-Fi.
There you go.
We're there.
Get a drink from the bar. Hang out with Nikki and
Yep.
And tell her all your troubles.
Tell me all your troubles. Don't go to the therapist. Just sit down and let's have some whiskey sours and talk about it.
It's cheaper for an $18 cover than a therapist, folks. Let me tell you right now.
Right.
Well, again, thanks, Nikki, for being here.
Thank you, Aaron. Thanks for having me. And congratulations to you, your consistency, your longevity, and what you're doing for the arts community uptown. I was talking to Eric about everything that's happening up here, and you've been such a central part of that, bringing artists together and supporting artists. And so kudos to you.
Thanks. I much appreciate that. It's all about what we can do to lift each other up.
Yeah, that's right.
And keep on keeping on. And I'll say this: winning the game is staying in the game.
Hey, I like that.
Again, thanks, Nicky Sunshine, for joining me on this Artist Spotlight episode of Inwood Art Works On Air. Again, it's where I meet the musicians, filmmakers, writers, theater makers, and artists of all stripes who make their home here in Upper Manhattan. If you have a moment, please show some love right now and rate and review this podcast on whatever podcast you're listening at 5 stars. Leave a great comment. It really does help. Many thanks to Good Shepherd here for partnering and hosting us here today, and to Hidesites.com for uptown promotional support. Hey, you can support On Air, by the way, and all of our free programming by making a tax-free donation to inwoodartworks.nyc/donate or via Venmo at Inwood Artworks. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up with all that we do, which includes the Inwood Film Festival, Filmworks Alfresco, community concerts, pop-up art galleries, and so much more. Inwood Art Works On Air is proud to be supported in part by public funds from the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council. And Inwood Art Works programming is made possible by the New York State Council on the Arts with support of the Office of the Governor and the New York State Legislature. From the top of Manhattan and the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Aaron Sims for Inwood Art Works On Air.